So now that you have your pieces of muslin trued and added with seam allowance, we can go ahead and cut the pieces onto the main fabric and sew the skirt. So now we have the front skirt on the fold cut out. We have two of the back cut out. And then we also have the back facing and the front facing. Now that we have the pieces cut out, we're going to go ahead and iron the inner facing onto the facing pieces. So next up, we want to sew the darts together on the skirts. So we have our markings here on where we have our darts. So right down here. And then we have the two notches here indicating where they're going to start. Do that to the front and the back of the skirt. Now we have our facing pieces. This is the front of the facing, which is on the fold, and I opened it up, and this is what it's going to look like. These two here are the back parts of the facing. We want to sew on the side seams. We want to sew them together. So make sure that you match up the side seams, good side to good side. And then we want to sew here at a 1/2 inch. And then also here at a 1/2 inch. So now we're going to attach the front and backs together on the side seams. So this is your front piece here with your darts sewn. Here is your side seam for your back. And your other one. So now you can sew at a 1/2 inch on the side here and here. So this is what the facing looks like when the side seams are sewn together. Now we're going to clean up the facing. I'm going to go to the overlock machine and I'm going to clean up this edge here and the side seam there. I'm then going to open up my facing and I'm going to clean it up all on the bottom and then also on the ends here. So now that we have the front and the back attached, we're going to clean up the side seams on the overlock. I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean up the sides, and I'm also going to clean up the center back with the overlock machine. So now that you cleaned up and overlocked your whole skirt, you want to close the center back. We want to leave an opening of about 7 inches for your zipper. So we're going to sew from here straight down at a 1/2 inch this way. So once we cleaned up the skirt on the edges and we finished sewing the back of the skirt together, we're going to iron the back of the skirt open so we can add the zipper onto the back first. So we're going to get the back of the skirt, lay it out nice and flat, and then we're going to press the back seam open. I'm going to press it open until this opening here, where the opening is for the zipper. And then on one side of the zipper, we're going to press it open at 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to press one side, 1/2 inch. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to press it a little bit open, about 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to fold it over 5/8. If you need a ruler to help you fold it and get your measurements, please do so. You're gonna fold it over. press it. So everything is nice and pressed open. So this is at a 1/2 inch and this is a little bit more at 5/8. So now I'm going to flip the skirt right side out towards the back. So once you have it pressed open, it's going to look like this with the seam. So now we're going to place our zipper right in the center of it. And we're going to pin it together. So now we're going to place the zipper in the skirt. And the side where we fold it over a 1/2 inch, we're going to pin it down first. So we're going to grab our pins and we're going to pin it. I want to make sure everything is nice and flat. And you want the teeth to show in the center. Like that. Then pin it down. Once you've pinned it down, you can go in using your zipper foot and you're going to sew it right next to the edge of this teeth all the way down to here. So this is what the lap zipper will look like. It's covering the seam on the inside and then you just fold it over and it covers the zipper. Now we're going to attach the facing onto the skirt. So now we're going to attach the facing onto the skirt. Here's our facing piece. Good side to good side. We are going to pin at the side seams. So I'm gonna match the side seams. Go to the other side seam and pin that. Then I'm going to pin the middle of the skirt, making sure that my darts are facing the center front. Then I'm going to pin the back of my facing towards the zipper. Because we already attached the zipper in the back, I'm going to fold this over to the edge and then we're just going to tack it into place when we fold to that line. So pin that. Make sure your darts are facing towards your center back. Go around to the other side, to the back, do the same thing. This one will reach all the way to the end so you don't have to fold it over. Make sure your dart's facing center back and pin So now that we have everything pinned, I'm going to sew it all the way around. So now we're going to sew the facing onto the waistband. Here's the part where I tucked it over, and I'm going to sew that down. And I'm going to sew this at 1/4 of an inch. Back tack. Okay, so once we have that sewn, we're going to do a top stitch on the facing part. So we're going to pull the seam upward, and we're going to do a seam right here really close on the edge. So I'm going to flip all this extra seam up towards the facing. I'm going to lay it flat. And I'm adding my top stitch. So now that you have your top stitch on the facing, you can go ahead and fold it over, and we're going to iron down all of the facing so you have a nice clean edge. And once you've ironed everything down, you're going to go back on the side seams, and you're going to stitch in the ditch. So you're going to match this up, and you're going to sew this in place down with the tack on inside the stitch on both sides. And then you can also stitch and tack down the flappy part onto the zipper. I'm gonna tack it down here over here. Okay. Now we're gonna sew the hem down here. We're gonna sew it on the single needle machine.